markets right now. And Santosh, India is now the fourth largest IPO market in the world, and I guess that's what's sucking out some amount of liquidity. What's been your opinion on the kind of fresh paper and the broadening of the market which is currently underway here in India?
Well, that's always a good sign, but you have to be careful. Sometimes when too much IPO is, there's a concern about bubble brewing and all that stuff. It happened here also in the late 1990s. And so all that is good, but there are always some good companies in there. Some other ones get in because of the tailwind there. But overall, people have to be careful, just as in the U.S., invest in companies that have a good potential. And have a good business plan, have a path to profitability, which is the main thing, because you have some companies, as we had in the past, where profits were expected way down if all the stars lined up. That didn't really make sense. But there are some good companies with good fundamentals and good industries that have a path to profitability, and those are the companies to really look for in the IPOs. And I think that applies everywhere.
Okay, so that's the take on the IPO market. Santosh, hi, morning. Give us a sense of where you're seeing the Indian market headed in light of the global handover. It's not been all that bad, but it's not been all that great either. The U.S. markets have seen some days of exuberance, but all that has settled down towards the end of the week. Your view on the way the global markets have acted and the impact it could have on India?
Yeah, I think every country has its own fundamentals. I think U.S. market is right now in a bind. I mean, it's on one hand you have the labor market kind of softening. On the other hand, some data from Citibank and RBC showing that the unemployment claims are actually falling, which means that, the layoffs, even though you see announcements, layoffs are not that bad. So fundamentally, the U.S. market is still good, and there are a lot of cuts coming down one more cut coming by the end of the year and two more after that. So I think there is some tailwind going into that. So that's positive sentiment, I'm sure, carries over for the rest of the world as well. And in India, actually, I think it's good. I mean, what I get is the headlines here. I see the companies doing well, so they will do well. But one thing that I read, and I follow is that the relative advantage of investing in India for retail money for companies to go to India as opposed to China and other places because of the tariffs, that arbitrage, that gap, that profit, that relative advantage is kind of diminishing. So hopefully there's a resolution to the tariffs thing going on, and that will help India more at this point in terms of foreign money coming into the country. So that's a big point that I wanted to make.
Santosh, what is the kind of outlook that you have for India vis-a-vis the kind of global headwinds are there? You have some smoothening of relationship between US and China, but India and US relationship with respect to tariff is still at a discussion stage. You have a Fed which is looking towards a pause going forward, given that data is not adequately available, and then you have crude, which is now going to be stable because OPEC has decided to increase for December and then go for a pause in March. All this, how do you see India in midst of all these global headlines?
I think India should do well in this setup because every time oil prices are down, that's always good. That's more money in the people's pockets. So that's always a good tailwind there. And overall, I think Indian economy is still good. It's still the fastest growing economy. So it'll definitely, even though there is slight disturbance here because of this tariff talk and other stuff, but overall, it's a very good place to invest. And I'm sure it will pick up more and more as the dust settles and we get some more clarity as to where that's going. But in the end, talking to some experts here as well, US believes India is a big partner, will be a big partner going forward, and similarly vice versa. So I think in the end that will settle and India will go back to what it was before this noise came in about everything going on. But net, I expect, and even I've seen some of the companies report in India as well, they're doing very well. So I have a positive opinion about the Indian market and the way and the outlook for the Indian market.
Okay, good to hear that, Santosh, and good to be talking with you as always.